first thing is when you actually use the boat hoist is to do the pre-inspection. The checklist is on the boat hoist itself, and it's important to carry out an inspection on all of these items prior to each use of the hoist. All structural and other critical components need to be visually inspected prior to each use. One of the other critical things is the piece of machinery operates on a chain system or a wire system internally. You can hear that clicking away with the cogs. So what we need to do is we need to look underneath here, and we need to make sure that there are at least 4 wraps of the wire going around the pulley system within. We also then need to, prior to using it on a boat, we need to make sure it's functioning, going up and down properly. So we're basically raising the hoist with the arms to pretty much the height of the top of the hoist, and then we're lowering it down. If you look at the side of the hoist here, here's our turns here. Up is obviously this motion and down is this one here. So we bring the hoist up to the top here and we bring it down and make sure it's all functioning correctly prior to using it on a boat. The next important item is to make the area safe for use. So that involves putting some barricades out to make sure no one walks into the zone. And the other thing is we need to put our hard hat on. Because we are using a piece of equipment at height, we need to wear a hard hat in case anything falls on our head. Before maneuvering the hoist in place under the ground floor boat on its dolly, it is key to grab a wheel out of the storeroom and just sit it under the dolly there. What that does is it lifts the V of the laser slightly higher, so when the hoist comes in either side, it's not going to damage or scratch the bottom boat. We can then move the trolley or the hoist in position. We've removed the spars from the racking. It's important to know that the hoist has an operating capacity of 85 kilograms. So a standard laser hull is about 60 kilograms. And so it's important to get anything that's inside the hull that's going to overload it past 85 kilos, roughly, is out of it. So we start to wind our handle up. It's a very easy wind, you can do it with one hand. It's fairly easy to push and pull around. You can't do any damage by grabbing the arms and wiggling it around. So we're now getting the arms to the underside of the gunnels on the boat. Before you push the arm up to the side of the boat, it is important when it's in position that this arm here sits firmly under the gunnel. So we're adjusting as we go. We're sliding the hoist in. Okay, so when we're in approximate position, what we do now is we put a safety bar on top of it. We've also got this here, which is a pulley and a clip to stop the boat sliding off the hoist. It's got this little G-clamp here, should be locked in around the traveller at that point there and secured. That way, if the boat gets stuck on any of the racks in here, the boat cannot slip forwards on the hoist. Once that's secured, then we put the cantilever arm bar on the top of it. The bar just holds it firmly, the bottom of the boat firmly on top of the rack here. So that there slides down there through the cleat. This loop here then goes up the inside of the arm of the hoist, and it's important that loop goes over the top of that. That's a secondary safety feature. The cleat might come undone at any stage, and that loop acts as a secondary safety device. So then it's a case of raising or lowering, jostling it round to make sure those arms stay under. We're constantly checking that, and then we start to move the boat out of the rack. Once the hoist is in position, we then get our dolly ready to accept the boat once it's at ground level. So we get our dolly set up from one of the racking positions, and we set it up on the floor. We slide the boat out. We're constantly adjusting the arms up or down to suit the racking heights. And then we're watching the bottom there. We're adjusting the underside of the boat on the rack system. We then take the load or the boat down to a lower and more safe level. So we're doing that, winding the arms down. What we do now is we take it down to the level where the operating arm of the aluminium there just sits on the steel of the base hoist system. We can adjust the hoist up and down to suit the dolly height, and we're lining that up there. We can now adjust our dolly in place. We can lower it down again on top of the dolly. We can now take our cantilever arm off by uncleating that. There's a little bit of load on there, probably 5 kilos, but that's hardly anything. We take off our safety line here. We no longer need that. Release that down there and take the other safety arm off. As the boat flips up a bit, that's just the load, so that's fine. Then we just sit the safety arm on top of the hoist there. And now we can basically put our knee on the front of the dolly here, and we can just slide it off on the dolly and then pull it away, and we're right to go. And that's the procedure for getting the boat down off the racks.